first pick the Kog'Maw as well. Snake was originally known for playing the Protect the composition into EDG, winning that series and making a name for themselves. So they could potentially do that as well. And I'm not really sure if Pepper is going to be willing to play into the tank supports like SOFM is going to be, because we've seen this guy is mainly a Jarvan Kha'Zix player. But apparently my predictions are completely out the window, so they just banned out the Kog'Maw instantly.
Why even risk it at this point, right? When the likes of Zoe is so strong in the meta, when Azir has such long range to be able to harass that Kog'Maw away. But like you said, it's Kog'Maw banned away right off. Taric going to be taken away from Crisp here in this game number 2. That Cosmic Radiance, just a bit too much comfort for him. Meanwhile, Kalista again banned away from Crystal. So all in all, things looking pretty similar to last game. Ooh, but I like this change up. Vladimir banned away from Flandre.
Yeah, so the early picks we can have from Flandre right here might be Camille if they leave that up. Ornn is also something that he is willing to go into, and Ornn synergizes really well if you want to kickstart the bot lane. So that is also a, it doesn't win a lot of games, but you can always go to that. They decide not to go that route. For Gimgoom, I actually feel like he's just comfortable picking, like blind picking into a lot of champions. You don't necessarily need to prioritize him. Still deciding Snake, taking away that Jarvan. Pepper is too damn scary on that champion. We're not going to give it to him. FPX also taking out an engage option from Snake. This is one of Guoguo's best champions. I feel like the game they won against EDG, he really had some of the best Zhonya's in game.
Well, that's also the Alistair banned away by FPX, and with the Tahm Kench now to keep LWX safe, once again, he's got his pick of the litter for hyper carries. Perhaps we could get the chance to see a Vayne. Perhaps we could get the chance to see another Tristana. I was kidding about the Vayne.
you're just kidding. Like,
Crystal,
calm down.
through time and space, on the other 300s of kilometers away, has heard me and says, Vayne, here, now? Just lock it in. No, it's going to be the Malzahar locked in for Guoguo. Hopefully he'll get the chance to use it. Use that ultimate a little bit more this game.
What? Going for the Gangplank. Okay, this is very interesting.
All right.
Taking a page from Gimgoon's playbook here. Now, we've seen a lot of... This is one of the main differences between the LCK and the LPL currently, is that the prioritization on Gangplank is very, very different. A lot of teams will pick Gangplank even as a first pick in the LCK.
Now...
Kha'Zix going in?
Yeah, Kha'Zix locked in for Pepper in the jungle. Still seeing a late top lane for Gimgoon. He's more than comfortable blind picking up, but now he knows what he's up against. That Gangplank on the top side. So perhaps we could see him return to that Gnar that he tried to take Scout down with just a few days ago, as Shen will be banned away from Hootie.
This definitely looks like Snake will probably ban out. I'm guessing they definitely need to take out the Gnar. They don't want too many bad matchups in the top lane.
We'll see what that's going to be. Camille banned away from Gimgoon. Still rocking that 100% win rate here in the LPL.
That's an interesting ban, because usually Gangplank has a decent to good matchup against the Camille unless the jungler can snowball it very heavily. So with this ban, they're basically saying that, okay, Pepper, you're really good on the map. We don't want you to make life a living hell for Flandre in the top lane. We're just going to take that option away.
Oh, Misfortune ban away from Crystal and Hootie on that bottom half. Still looking for the support and AD carry of the two. But LWX will get first pick. There's the Gnar that we were talking about. So Gimgoon is going to have to dig just a little bit deeper.
Looks like the Ezreal here coming for FPX, I would imagine. That would be the reason you ban out Misfortune. Misfortune still has a decent matchup into Ezreal, even with all of the armor pen nerfs.
Ooh, the Kayle would have been really interesting. You and I were joking earlier today about how terrible. Whoa! Urgot locked in.
Welcome to 2018.
By Gimgoon. Where's Pulse when you need him? The Urgot main. All right. I like where this is going.
Okay, so that's a very, very special pick right there. The problem with Urgot is that, yes, he does win a lot of lanes, but when he loses them spectacularly. There's no comeback mechanic really for that champion.
And Crystal, he wasn't kidding. Taking the Vayne here. Snake are throwing down the gauntlet.
All right, they need something that can protect, probably push the lane out a little bit. Going for the Braum pick here. That's good into the Tahm Kench. You can kind of slow him from walking into you. FPX here taking the Twitch. All right, there's a lot of picks open at this moment. you can decide to kind of push the Vayne lane in. Vayne does not have any wave clear as a champion. That is her main point of weakness. But Sivir is not very good into Vayne post 6, so I think Tristana does make a bit more sense here.
Yeah, once again, LWX returning to the champion that had such an excellent performance in Game 1. But now in Game 2, he's got himself an Urgot on the top half of the map. Tahm Kench to keep him safe, someone who he actually needs to be next to instead of getting the long-range Cosmic Radiance from that Taric. But Snake, in front of their home crowd in Chongqing, are going to try to turn this around. And this is not going to be a subtle affair, Clement. I think this is going to be a loud and a messy game.
Yep. I really want to see how that top lane goes because I feel like Urgot is a huge risk to any team. Yes, you can push in like tanks that can't fight back, like Shen and things like this. But against a Gangplank, I actually feel like he can set up a chain barrel very easily and lead to your death through a gank in that scenario. So they really are going to have to play more to the top side in this game and kind of just let Tahm Kench protect the bottom side, trust in Crisp, and let him do his job there. If you don't protect the Urgot, I really don't see how this pick is a good pick. It's a very volatile top lane.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen some great play from Pepper in game number 1 this time around. He could be the one who ends up being invaded. We know that Jarvans are very capable of trying to sneak into the jungle, and SOFM is probably the most likely culprit to try to do exactly that. So we'll keep an eye on that early jungle pathing, but with our compositions all set up, with all 10 players locked and loaded here in game number 2, and in front of their home crowd, Snake are going to try to turn this best of 3 around and start off 2018 with a win. But it's up to Funplus Phoenix to deny them that.
Well, it's up to Gimgoon to deny them that at this point. So we can talk a little bit about Urgot runes. In Challenger, we've actually had a Korean Urgot player, and he actually goes for Grasp of the Undying. And we've also seen in other tiers of League, we've seen Press the Attack, and I know Pulse, he swears by the Comet. So there's a lot of variants you could have there. I'm really interested to see how he actually plays his pick out.
Especially up against the likes of that Gangplank, who would just love to sit there and farm and catch minions and become absolutely huge so that he can one-shot a squishy Tristana or a Kha'Zix later on. But in order to actually make that happen, though, he'll need to survive the constant damage and constant threat that Gimgoon will be providing. But the crowd is cheering, the players are ready, and we're in game.
So pretty standard level 1s here, both teams fanning out. I think that Gimgoon, my guess is that he probably has Demolish or something. That's the way I've seen the last Korean Challenger Urgot being played, is that you take Grasp of the Undying, you have Demolish. You constantly push those tanks in and you just chip on their turrets. But again, I'm not very familiar with this champion. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, taking the Corrupting Potion level 1, Gimgoon hoping to get just a bit more additional damage. Looks like we're going to be getting those runes coming up in just a bit. I believe that was Electrocute. Yeah, Electrocute on Pepper was all I saw, and I think that was Unsealed Spellbook on Bing. But just a standard blue buff start from SOFM, some assistance from Flandre. You can see Pepper and Gimgoon on that top side of the map, so mirrored jungles, top to bottom.
Yep, and I think this is smart from Snake's part. Really, the Gangplank doesn't have much to do in lane. It's perfectly okay if you want to help out your jungler and have him path toward the bot side where there's more action. Smart choices here.
Yeah, Pepper just happily clearing away his Raptors as Gimgoon heads on top to start working away at Flandre's health. Mid looks to be very close to even, and LWX and Crisp have already shoved quite aggressively. It appears that we've got another Targons coming out of LWX for some early shove. Looks like Crisp running the exact same thing. Heck, why not make it 4? 4 Targons on that bottom half of the map.
Yeah, this is getting really common on champions that don't necessarily need the extra health sustain. A lot of people are taking this just for the gold gain. We've actually seen Targons being picked in the top lane as well for Kleptomancy users. You can get your money back in about 10 minutes with Bandit, and it also incentivizes your jungler to come to your lane because you can pass some free gold.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
10-minute money back guarantee.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, anything you can do to try to get more people into your lane, more people on your own team to gank the enemy, and then you tell them to get out.
All right, I have no more charges. You're out. You're out.
Exactly. Looks like pretty full clear from SOFM, not affecting any lanes just yet. Full top side, then red to Raptors, leaving his Krugs alone. And close to a full clear from Pepper. He's heading over towards his Krugs right now, but SOFM walks through lane. I don't know that he was spotted there. Yeah, that was pretty close to the vision. And he's pushing up. Oh, excellent timing from Pepper with that Scryers to spot this out. No smite from either of them. But Pepper is just going to zone away that J4.
Yep, pretty much. Pepper doing an identical path as SOFM. Both of them know that this Urgot needs to be protected. Starting on the top side and then going back just to make sure that matchup goes the way it's supposed to.
A little bit of a priority from both of those top laners to make sure that, junglers, to make sure that top lane is safe. And we talked a little bit about this before getting into the game proper. The pathing of both Pepper and SOFM is going to be so important to see how they affect these lanes because they can be very volatile.
Exactly. The one thing I have about like Gangplank is that sometimes when Gangplanks take magical footwear in bad matchups, it turns into a negative snowball. They actually get picked on in lane over and over again. It can happen with like Rumble matchups and can kind of happen in this matchup as well.
Ooh. Magical footwear would certainly be helpful in escaping what could be a potential gank. Gimgoon is trying to play with the vision. Even Bing is on his way. That's a blast plant to try to get him over the wall. Good damage. Flandre is down to 200. The chase, 100 health. The teleport flash. Bing gets first blood.
That was beautiful full play right there. 3 people coming in, recognizing the lane position, recognizing the potential for Gimgoon to get that disdain back, and just playing all parts of the map really well. They put all their pieces together. It all clicked. It's a beautiful play. They even got a free teleport.
And this is what we were talking about from FPX. They seem to click right now. But Snake, ooh, this is a bit clever. They're going to mimic the exact same play. SOFM
definitely spotted
past.
Here though.
Can't quite see him from that perspective, though. Immediately, Gimgoon pulls back and pings, so you must be right. And instead, they play it nice and defensive. FPX don't take any chances.
Yep. So Bing looks like he was smart enough to leave a river ward for them, so that counter gank does not happen from Snake. Gimgoon has a very fun time picking up this massive wave. This matchup could have been very different if they were able to 3v1 him under tower right here. Doesn't happen, though.
And the gusto from Flandre to teleport back in with only a Sheen and then aggressively push back once again. Pepper now shows himself on that top half of the map, and with the recall from Gimgoon, he's going to look for his own first buy, as it's just a nice, safe top lane after that initial excitement, and everyone returns towards it.
Yeah. Now, the more I think about this lane, the more details you can kind of think about in the matchup. If Urgot is able to push Gangplank in and he can land a throwback on him, there's nothing Gangplank can really do. Like his citrus fruit don't protect him from that, and if you have Kha'Zix coming in at the same time, that's actually a fairly easy kill. We can see how Pepper path to the top lane right there, just went through the lane because his lane was constantly pushing. Now we can see a skirmish probably going to happen here. Oh, SOFM gets out safe.
Yeah, he's able to invade and steal away the wolves, and with the push from Guoguo in the mid lane, Bing cannot walk forward and punish it. So slight advantage for SOFM as he's able to get in there and start to eke out a bit of a CS lead over Pepper. Meanwhile, LWX, he's been hard pushing down here in the bottom lane. I don't think I've seen him back on his own side of the river since the lane started. And Crystal, he's doing a good job keeping up with the CS of LWX while this has been going on, while the junglers have been so focused on other areas of the map.
Yep, but I feel like FPX do need to be careful because I think Crisp is the main way that Snake does get into the game. With Jarvan coming in from with his Cataclysm and Hudia's ultimate as well, I feel like Crisp is the prime target they're probably going to go for to kickstart this. You can see they're constantly shoving in that bot lane, so you really have to take close attention to that lane when both of those bot laners get to level 6.
And now that allows SOFM to take himself a Scuttle Crab. Looks like he will pass over that second blue buff to Guoguo, allowing him to push back against the Ryze, who once again went for the Catalyst and Tier, so a nice safe and delayed build. No big items out of Guoguo just yet. We also have not seen the Nether Grasp either. So everything's nice and patient. As recall completed from Pepper, he gets level 6. Challenging Smite and Warriors for assassination. SOFM warding Smite and also Warriors.
Now this is a great time to go back for LWX. They know that Sofem has just hit 6 on the top side of the map, know his starting jungle path, and he's most likely going to come bot lane. So, stepping on the brakes a little bit. Actually, they just went straight back to lane. All right, so never mind.
Yeah,
they just warded and went straight back to lane.
Canceling the recall instead. They decide to stay there, extending this laning phase as long as possible. Because if you take a look at that, the first dragon is an Infernal. So the longer FPX can delay and start to build some of those core items, the better position they'll be when they get to that eventual fight.
Yep.
Pepper sneaks in and right back out.
Pepper definitely smells the potential for Sofem's ultimate to come down here. Hoodia has already hit 6, but I feel like Snake has kind of missed their opportunities with Bing roaming and also Pepper on the bottom side of the map. I don't feel like they can go for this play anymore. It's just about defending Infernal Drake at this point for them.
Ooh. Or perhaps sneaking it away. SOFM is at the Krug camp right now, and there's a ward in the pit that sees this happening. SOFM on his way. He just used his smite on the Krugs.
Ult's down.
Cannon barrage over the wall. Pepper goes low, and Crisp with the save. He's knocked out to the other side. Smites and steals it, but gives away a kill. Crisp with a huge shield goes low. Nether Grasp onto Bing. FPX might have bitten off a bit too much more that they can chew. Oh, the stopwatch and the portal to get to the wall.
Tagged.
And the flash chase from
Two more
Gorgo.
autos.
He wants the kill. It takes 1. But no, there is no follow-up. Snake only find 2 kills, and FPX get the dragon.
Yep, and Flandre with the play from the top lane, going for a 2-for-0 trade for Snake there. And most importantly, that they are able to get some kills on the board, get this game plan starting for them. So I would say that's more in favor for Snake for me.
Here's that play again. Crisp tries to go for the save, but doesn't quite get it in time, though they do secure the dragon.
Yep, and you can see the big difference maker, Gameplank locking all of the members of FPX into that dragon pit, so they have to commit to the fight there. Crisp really doesn't have much of a chance against those ultimates, Cataclysm and the Glacial Fissure coming down. Bing just really lucky to get away with his life.
Ooh, Pepper and Bing are hunting down Guoguo. A double stopwatch at the exact same time. Bing tries to get in. Flash auto from Pepper gets the kill. And SOFM with the chase drops a ward, trying to get to the blast plant. Can he make it in time? He cannot. He goes down. It's 1 for 2 in favor of FPX.
Yeah, we didn't see the start of that fight, but good Zarya usages from both extended that fight a little bit. However, that was a done deal for FPX. They have that top lane constantly pushing in, so there was not much chance that they could have won that fight. And just like we talked about earlier in the game, it does look like Gimgoon is going Grasp of the Undying into the Demolish build. So Pulse, if you're watching, you can take a couple notes. This build is actually better than yours.
Oh,
just saying, just saying.
Calling him out, one top laner to another. We'll get back to this when this series is over, Clement. But for now, let's just continue to watch how this is going on, as Bing is going to teleport here into this mid lane. And Snake find themselves with a gold advantage, but it really seems like they're still reacting to the plays of FPX. They are the proactive ones, fighting over the dragon, trying to find the pick onto Guoguo, and it's Snake who are responding in return. Can they afford to continue doing this over the course of the game, knowing that they have that Vayne and Malzahar?
Well, I feel like they need to get the bot lane going. The problem about the Vayne versus Tristana matchup is that there aren't many pros for the Vayne. Let's see Flandre here.
Pepper with huge damage and the
bye-bye.
assassination. That's going to be a good grill as Gimgoon locks down his own kill in the top lane.
That range was ridiculous.
It's pretty big. I have had a lot of kills stolen by Pulse with just one button. It's actually a lot like that. You do all of the hard work, and then Urgot presses one button and takes the kill.
All right. Well, I think FPX Gimgoon might have shown his hand a little bit. Now when he goes to blind pick the Gangplank, he might need to keep that in mind. We've been seeing a lot of Gangplank counter picks show up all over the different regions. For LCK, we just saw Lucian being played yesterday. Let's see.
That's a
Cannon barrage
knockup.
down.
Crisp is actually very low, pinned against the wall. He goes down. Flandre with the cannon barrage. A dive in the back from SOFM, and Guoguo gives 2 kills, but still, first brick to FPX. Snake are going to answer.
Yep, that was a really smart play. They just saw Ryze teleport to the mid lane, knew that there was no response coming in from the enemy team. And like we said, the way that Snake wants to get this bot lane going is really to focus on Crips. There's so much CC in that bottom lane that I don't feel like the Tahm Kench should be able to get out of the game without 5 deaths. Like, I think that's bare minimum.
And knowing that, he's going to try to play a little bit safer here as the next dragon will be coming up soon, a mountain dragon, and Rift Herald seems to be the target again from FPX. We talked about it earlier. It's always 2-for-1 trades, just slowly inching up an advantage over your opponents, and while Snake is ahead in gold, how long is that going to last if FPX continue to trade like this?
Yeah, I'm really interested in where they're going to place this Rift Herald. I feel like you really have to think about where Urgot wants to go on the rest of the map, because he's not really a teamfight pick. He's a continuous push pick. We've seen him being played, I believe it was All-Stars. I think Gigabyte Marines actually picked it and beat Immortal, so that would be Worlds. In fact, not All-Stars, sorry. So the way this pick is played is kind of like a constant pusher. So you don't really want to drop this Herald where Gimgoon is going to push. You want to be it on the opposite side. So what I think FPX is going to try to do in the next couple of minutes is try to set up like a 4-1 situation where Gimgoon can get an isolation somewhere on the map and they push 4-man with the Herald.
That's what we almost saw on the bottom half of the map. Gimgoon pushing up against Crystal, who decides to go for BF Sword's Static Shiv first for some early wave clear. But now he's just hanging around in the river in between the two, holding on to his teleport.
Yep, this is now the standard Vayne type of build where you go triple crit items. She was changed in Season 7 where you can't crit off the tumble, so that was a kind of a big thing for her. I know some people still prefer to play her with the Rage Blade. People like Uzi definitely do.
Ooh, Pepper finds SOFM with big damage, who might have overextended. Hootie tries to follow up, but is separated from his team. Almost lands the stun onto Pepper, but with Crystal showing up, the two teams disengaged. Nobody wants to feed the Vayne. Yeah,
nobody wanted to really play that because Cannon Barrage was up for Snake, but they also had SOFM very low, so both teams just decided to back out of that fight.
Just playing it nice and calm. Still pushing up here in this lane as SOFM tries to invade, but this time gets punished. That's not going to stop him, though, as LWX catches these minions in the mid lane. Close to even CS with that Vayne, which is not a place you want to be, just about ever.
This is very interesting from FPX. Both games, they try to go for a 1-3-1 style. Play it slower than some of the other LPL teams that are constantly grouping up.
Ooh, Pepper sneaking in and dropping the ward. That's a teleport from Gimgoon to get in. Pepper with the steal gets in. That's a teleport from Flandre. Cannon Barrage there looking for SOFM, but do not find him. And the teleport is canceled by Flandre, though the dragon was taken by FPX. Beautiful. And the Realm Warp into mid lane. An immediate Rift Herald from Pepper. They could try to get here too quick.
He timed that with his team members cleaning out the minion wave as well.
Oh, wow. And they also take the tier 1. Snake are left reeling with the immediate decision from FPX to punish them.
They got 2 objectives, a teleport as well, so wow. Yeah, they just play this map really well.
2 objectives for the price of none. They just get in and get out, and suddenly it's only 500 gold separating these two teams.
Yeah, and I don't really see how Snake can, like, even though like Urgot isn't much of a team fight pick, Snake's team fight in the late game is not exactly good. There's not much that takes Vayne above Tristana in the late game. She doesn't necessarily deal more damage. She's also has a much shorter range, and you're going up against people like Ryze and Kha'Zix that can
make it really difficult
with you. Yeah.
With that difficulty, Crystal is going to have to show us why he is still here on the team as one of the better AD carries. Of course, he's matured quite a bit over the past 2 years, but still has he's got that bloodthirsty streak in him, a tendency to tumble forward, if you will.
I just don't see how Crystal gets that many auto attacks off. There's too many things he needs to look for. Kha'Zix is one, the Rune Prison is another, and you also have to beware of Urgot just throwing you back into his own composition. The same can be said for Gangplank as well. So it's kind of a difficult teamfight composition to pull off for Snake. And they don't really have a split push edge either. I'm really wondering how they're going to get back into the game.
Well, this seems to be a good way to do it. Snake sending Hootie and Crystal towards the top lane. They're able to find it with only Gimgoon defending. He falls back to try to defend as FPX, they seem to accept this trade. They give up the tier 1, but they're shoving mid. They're shoving bottom. You can see Bing already pushing that wave in. Cannon Barrage on the minion wave. Nether Grasp onto that Tom Kench, who is very tanky. He's silenced, he's knocked up, can't shield. Realm Warp, will he get out of there? No, that's going to be bringing Bing in. He flashes away, but goes down. They trade for the kill as LWX forced to leap away. Malefic Visions and the last second stopwatch. And he sneaks away. Guo, he's looking for the chase, though. He's looking for something, but Pepper is going to escort his carries to safety. And somehow it only ends up being a 1-for-1. Still a fight in the river as the rest of Snake want to chase down these kills. And FPX just say no and back away.
That was a good play from Snake right there. I think the main thing they were working off of was how slow Gimgoon would actually take to move into that fight. You could see him trekking down on his 8 legs. I was about to say wheelchair, but that's probably not what it is. He came down there, and it took him a long time, so Snake did have some time to really like fight 5v4 in that situation and push FPX off the map.
That's a bit of an overzealous teleport there from Bing. It's 18.5 minutes in. There's no Baron for them to fight over. There's teleport for blue buff, I suppose, which they will be able to take without a fight. And instead, FPX, they just reset back into the same position they were just in on the map. Only this time they're down a stopwatch on Tristana.
That was actually a fine trade for Snake. They got a free tower and didn't lose anything on their side. Also found out a way to how to deal with his Urgot. You basically can play around him by shoving him in the side lane and trying to fight 5v4s elsewhere on the map. Let's see if they can make that happen again.
Yeah, without that teleport, it's so tough for Gimgoon to get himself around. 6 legs can only get you so far as he's lumbering around.
He does have 8, I believe.
I'm fairly certain it's 6.
6?
Yeah.
So he's an okay.
Yeah, okay, yes. All right, well, we'll get somebody to confirm it to us. I'm sure Pulse is furiously tweeting at us right now. As you do.
Clement, how do you dare call yourself a color caster when you can't count the number of legs?
It's too real. It's too real, man. FPX now find themselves here in the mid lane. Looks like it is a 1-3-1 split. They've got teleport ready, almost ready for Gimgoon. Bing pretty far away from his own, but with the Realm Warp, he can get close to his team in time, should anything transpire. And SOFM,
they're looking for the fight.
Just trying to sneak around, but Pepper has been on top of SOFM. Anytime he tries to get in there, Pepper is playing goalkeeper, saying, "You're not getting past me."
Gimgoon on the push once more. It's going to take this tower fairly easily. We've seen so far that Snake has not been really willing to challenge Gimgoon at this point. With his build coming in here with probably Frozen Mallet next, they might be wary that he could...
Oh, there's a dive top. Bing shields Realm Warps.
Does he have Zhonya's? Nope.
He does not, but he doesn't need it. He's able to get away with the Malefic Visions burning on top of him. Now Pepper is behind them, drops the control ward. He knows Malice has no ultimate, but he has been spotted well in advance. Meanwhile, Crystal is taking some damage from LWX as FPX are hunting down some kills. They're going to try to find someone here. Who's it going to be? That's a teleport from Gimgoon. He's going to try to catch up. Crystal goes low. A late flash. He's pinned against the wall, but dies to a great lash from Crisp. And FPX find themselves a kill. And Clement Baron is up. SOFM is right there. This would be a risky play if they go for it, but FPX, they're going to take the choice into their own hands and start burning through its health.
Right, so now Gangplank still has... Pepper's almost going to go down. He actually goes down.
A huge mistake from Pepper. Not keeping an eye on his health.
Yeah, that was the cannon barrage coming down from Gangplank, netting him the kill right there. So it forces them off the Baron play.
And now Snake, they're actually shoving right up in this mid lane. They take the tier 1, turning now onto the tier 2, punishing FPX for the smallest of mistakes, not tracking your health correctly on the Baron. And it's 2 turrets for Snake after losing a fight. I've never thought I'd hear myself saying something like that.
Yeah, he's clawing his way back into the game, does not want to disappoint the hometown crowd here in Chongqing.
You heard from Crystal, the Chongqingers, as we heard from him. Very proud people, very happy and excitable. You can hear the crowd cheering over and over again.
Yep, famous
for the crowds.
Their hot pots and spicy food, laid-back attitude.
And Pepper is doing the best he can to enjoy some spicy plays. But now FPX trying to upset this. Snake going to defend. Here comes the wave, pushing in.
So neither top laner has their teleports anymore. We're going to see a 5-man group here from FPX going into the Baron pit. I feel like they have a much stronger teamfight composition than Snake does, but they will have to find a way for Pepper to get into that backline, so a lot of attention has to be there on how Pepper maneuvers himself into a good position.
Ooh, that's a good Realm Warp for members. They're moving right on up. They've caught up to Hootie. That's Nether Grasp as the fight breaks into a brawl. SOFM is looking for it. Pepper tries to find the assassination, but his stealth wears off. SOFM with a stopwatch. He doesn't get the knockup. Gimgoon is low,
go down.
And he goes in, still alive, but finally dies. And that's going to be Crystal
LWX
in the front. The stopwatch. He finally dies to the crit. Like you said, LWX is doing work. Chris tries to clean it across the side. It's an all-out melee, and Snake looked to be winning. Flandre with the burn takes down the kill.
Wow, that was... first, I feel like LWX probably should not have taken that much damage in the fight. It was a straight engage from FPX, and you could also see on the back lines that Pepper really had a hard time trying to lock down Crystal right there. Crystal getting 2 shots on him, and you can see Pepper going back in again. Still doesn't get anything. Let's see how LWX actually fell down in this fight. He was caught in the Cataclysm, so that took down a lot of his health. Guogwo with a great positioning on this team fight. Doesn't really matter if Chris is able to devour him, because the Malefic Vision still does damage even when you're devoured. And finally, Flandre coming in, able to clean up that fight there.
And that's going to be Snake, able to take a very convincing team fight. FPX try to find the opportunity to break them open, but find themselves unable. Through very close execution, 25 minutes in, Baron has been up, and now Snake are starting to pick up some momentum. They're 3,500 gold ahead, but they are winning these fights. Vayne, 2.5 items, nearly 3, almost completely online. Meanwhile, FPX, they're struggling to find a way to deal with it.
Yeah, it's just taken too long to get onto Crystal in that team fight, and that was the main worry we were talking about before the fight even happened. So Pepper really needs to think about how he wants to get into the backline at this point, and also felt like FPX's target selection in that fight wasn't terrific. They had to focus Hootie because it was the only person they got, and Guogwo and Crystal were able to dish out way too much damage right there. It was a good try, but if they want to do that again, I feel like it would be better if they can do it in the jungle instead of in the lanes.
And you can see the gold on your screen right now. You'll notice it's very close to even just about everywhere, except for in the top lane. Flandre on that gangplank, despite being 20 CS ahead, he's 3,000 gold ahead of Gimgoon. And if my eyes don't deceive me, that's exactly the gold difference between these two teams.
So Flandre definitely knew his situation. He actually bought into the gold generation items. We call them investum items, basically in the LPL vernacular. SS starting.
Start off the Baron here. Hootie getting it low along with the rest of his team. As Pepper's on the side, they immediately turn and engage. That's a Realm Warp to get themselves to safety. Spitting out Bing as LWX kites it around, but that leaves Crisp out to dry, and he is burned down. Pepper in the back is behind them. He's managed to find SOFM and does the exact same thing that happened to him in the previous game. Pepper finally gets the kill. So without that smite, it's going to be a little more difficult to do this Baron, but that is FPX losing another fight.
Yeah, and that was very decisive from Snake right there. They caught an opportunity where Pepper was not in position to deal any damage, and they just bursted down the front line. You could see at the start of the fight, Crystal got 2 free shots on LWX, basically forcing him out at the beginning of the confrontation, and now we see Snake going back onto Baron.
Teleport from Gimgoon to race towards the pit, and Snake seeing that over the wall, play it nice and safe. They allow themselves to fall back. They don't want to give up their kills or their gold lead.
That's a really cool animation from Urgot right there.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, he's got the speed boost. He lifts his legs and flies. Battlecast Urgot. And now, this is a spicy game. What are you? Holy cow, they're just going right into it. Alrighty, Realm Warp is ready for Bing. Baron's at 4,000 health. Guogwo with the flash engage has found Pepper, but Chris with the denial says you can't kill him while I'm watching.
So I don't think either team is going to be confident enough to really go straight back to the Baron at this point. Malzahar without his ultimate is not really that good in terms of team fighting. So we're going to see a reset coming out here.
And the map resets once again. Hootie and the rest of Snake clear out vision around this Baron. I swear, if they start doing this Baron again and just keep trading back and forth, we're gonna have ourselves some words.
Yeah, even though Gimgoon doesn't have teleport, I feel like Snake is smart enough that they're not going to try this. They don't want to be locked inside the Baron Pit with a Realm Warp right in front of them. So, yep, it's like that would basically kill Vayne. She would have nothing to do in that team fight. So they're backing off, going to reset themselves. Just make sure that this area is still controlled by their own vision.
Now, FPX, like you said, sweeping out, trying to control this vision. Dragon's up in 10 seconds. FPX have gotten the previous 3, and you can see Gimgoon is heading, or excuse me, Flandre, I see the Gangplank, I automatically assume. Flandre heading bottom with that Gangplank to clear out this wave. He has teleport and cannon barrage, but FPX immediately step into the pit on top of the Scuttle Crab.
There
Recall
is no
from Flandre.
here.
They see LWX on top of it. Here goes Guogo looking for it, and they get the Baron. No contest. Realm Warp, everyone's getting in and out of there. Meanwhile, Crisp leaping away along with LWX. FPX are able to steal it away from under Snake's noses.
Yeah, Snake just underestimated how much damage FPX could sneak in with their Mountain Drake and their Infernal Drake at that moment right there. It took them less than 10 seconds to really take that Baron down.
That's the power of the isolation damage from Kha'Zix and a 3-item Tristana. Now that Mountain Dragon is still available, immediately FPX, they decide, hey, we've got Elder Dragon coming up after this one. Might as well secure the 4th to really make that buff something to be respected. With Baron on all 5. No teleport for Gimgoon. FPX are going to start setting themselves up on the map.
Yep. They should, however, beware about establishing forward vision. I feel like Gangplank at this point in the game is actually incredibly dangerous. We see his crit items pretty much all built out, and if he lands triple barrels on a grouped up FPX composition, he could change the tides of battle. So that's something they need to be aware. They need wards all over these walls going into Snake's base.
Ooh, Pepper playing very similar to SOFM, just sneaking around on the sides, sweeping out vision, trying to be a nuisance while the rest of his team pushes up. LWX poking away at these turrets time and time again. Every time that explosive shot is on cooldown, it is a threat. And with 2 minutes on the Baron buff, that is 4 full minion waves on that bottom lane that Snake have to worry about.
They also have to be aware of Gimgoon's positioning. If he's split pushing outside, he's not going to come into the fight in time to do any real damage. So FPX, they need to keep their composition relatively tight. They can't really have Gimgoon split off too much. Yeah, he's coming back from the mid lane there. He knows the danger. And what we should be really prioritizing here is if Flandre can land those triple barrels. You see one barrel sticking right here. They know they're going to try to pop wards over this wall. Let's just see how they defend it.
Already you can see we saw LWX skirting around the edges of one of those big barrels. Triforce, Sterak's Infinity Edge. That barrel is going to really hurt if LWX manages to get caught by it.
Yeah, and it also will take down Gimgoon relatively fast. He is not a very tanky champion at this point in the game.
Well, we'll have to see, as now 60 seconds left on that Baron. They decide to recall as a collective unit and spend some of that banked up gold that they have.
Now, this is a very interesting situation, mainly because of the Urgot. Even with FPX, with a longer range siege on Tristana, they're not really comfortable going into the high ground of Snake at this point. They know that their teamfight composition is very vulnerable if they group up. You have the cannon barrage going down, you have Flandre barreling over the wall at the same time. So I feel like FPX, at this moment in time, they're trying to figure out what's the correct way to proceed with their buffs.
Perhaps allowing Gimgoon to stand in the front with the likes of a Gargoyle Stone Plate and now that Null Magic Mantle. That might be something to allow him to survive some of the poke.
Yeah, I feel like maybe having Bing on the split push position might be the correct way to go right here. Let's see if they figure out something. Because I don't mean Gimgoon, sorry. Bing's Rise needs to be the split push position, while Gimgoon needs to be with the team.
Standing in the front, soaking as much damage as he can. There goes a big barrel to clear the wave. As Flandre steps in and out, weaving backwards and forwards. Crystal with a big auto attack and fleet footwork continues to chase with the sidestep. He's got some happy feet, and he's trying to show off how happy he is. Meanwhile, that's going to be Guardian Angel popped onto Pepper. He will be denied. Leaps. Oh my God! He made it out alive. The shield is burning away. The Malefic Visions, and the Cannon Barrage gets the kill. Bing is slowed. Goes to try to escape, but Crystal is on the hunt. 1 auto, 2 auto, but not a third as he is snared. But the jungler is dead, and Snake have got some momentum.
Well, that was really good timing from Snake. Crystal knew that his primary 2 threats, the Rise and the Kha'Zix, weren't in the front line. Tumbles directly forward and lands auto attacks on LWX. That was really good to watch. I mean,
what is really LWX doing? He's split pushing for an inhibitor right now, while Snake, as 5, are pushing into his base. There's no way he is faster than that.
Yeah, that was definitely a misplay from LWX there.
Snake are pushing in onto the Nexus turret. Recall only just now completed as they're skirmishing over it, but they've lost a Nexus turret to LWX's hubris. Gimgoon steps forward to escort Snake to safety, but the damage has already been done. The inhibitor has been broken.
Oh, takes LWX to half health with just 1 barrel. So that might be a game changer we need to keep our eyes out for further down the line.
And now 33 minutes in, 2 minutes until that Baron, 90 seconds until that Elder Dragon respawns. These late game objectives are huge. Gangplank is very close to those 6 items. So too is that Vayne. And Snake, they've got a late game team fight team. They are ready to late game team fight.
The thing for FPX is they cannot let Snake set up on objectives before they do. It's way too dangerous to go into an area where you know Gangplank has just been there. And also, if you're walking into an area where you don't have vision, that means Pepper is not going to be able to flank the Vayne. And I think that's just going to give Crystal free reign over the team fight. So let's see what they try to do. They really have to maneuver themselves by pushing a minion wave and then walking into the objective areas. They really need to draw Snake out of these pits.
Well, the way that they're doing it right now, by shoving in the mid lane with those super minions, with Guoguo setting up bottom and a wave building on the opposite side of the map, even red buff on Crystal. Every piece in its place, every place has its piece. Now, Elder Dragon is up in 30 seconds, Baron in 45, and Snake already.
Yeah, the timing is a bit unfortunate for FPX because Snake can take the Elder Drake and then still have enough time to head toward Baron right now. So you can see what this is what the teams are jockeying over. FPX is trying to push mid.
Oh, Barrel just nearly misses. Ward will get placed down by FPX. Flandre on the side, skirmishing with Gimgoon. LWX steps forward for an attack onto Hootie.
Yep, they just need 1 barrel to turn the team fight.
Already 1 turret goes down. Flandre over the wall, engages the Dragon. He's going to be tanking in the front. Pepper is behind the pit looking for a steal. 15 to 14, so more damage onto Pepper. But it is FPX who are currently tanking those hits. If FPX get this, it is a lot of true damage.
And you can see Pepper trying to look for the flanks. He actually moved behind the Dragon Pit and now is going
he's
around.
SOFM. He's getting a lot of damage. GA is still up. The
execution. He catches him over the
He
wall.
pulls him in. Guardian Angel keeps him alive, but Cannon Barrage allows the fight to reset. SOFM is slowed, but dashes away. Shielded by his team, he's still alive, and still FPX are playing around those barrels.
I actually think that Snake can't really contest this anymore. They're down the Gangplank ultimate, and I don't think SOFM can go back in.
Low. Already the damage, 6,000 health left on that Elder Dragon. It resets. Super minions shoving down the mid lane, and FPX's time is up. They have to defend their base, which means giving up the Dragon. But the Realm Warp to the Baron. They faked it indeed. They're going to trade 1 neutral for another. Empowered Recall will get them home in time.
Wow, so there was 2 really good plays by FPX right there. They were able to move into this area where they had no vision, and they didn't take any barrels from Gangplank. So that was the first good thing. The second good thing was that Pepper really read SOFM like a book. He just ran around. He knew that he was trying to get the same engage that he was, and instantly basically took SOFM out of that fight right there. Also a really nifty play there to trade the Baron for the Elder Drake. I actually think that goes into FPX's favor at this point.
Red buff picked up by LWX. And with this Baron buff, FPX will have a much easier time defending, as Snake still 3,000 gold ahead of FPX. 37 minutes into the game. These teams are neck and neck.
Yeah, this Baron buff is going to give FPX enough time for their own inhibitor to come back up. The only thing they need to be aware about is getting caught in these 150 seconds where the Elder Drake is up for Snake. And if they do manage to get a big team fight, they could possibly end the game right then and now. So FPX should just play very conservative and try to stay in their high ground as long as possible. Just don't let another inhibitor fall down and they're fine.
That's exactly what we see as they are defending their inhibitor. Guoguo steps forward, gets a good amount of burn onto LWX, but he'll be able to heal up with his Mercurial Scimitar. Meanwhile, Vision has been almost completely swept out from FPX. No chance of a flanking teleport, no chance of a collapse from any other direction as they are nearly obsessively clearing out the Vision as the inhibitor respawns just in time for Snake to siege it again.
Yep, and if we look at the timers here, there's still about 30 seconds on Elder Drake for Snake, so they are going to look to force this inhibitor down. But as we see right now, Hootie is actually taking a lot of damage from that long-range WX Tristana.
SOFM is behind them. He's been spotted. Pepper sneaks forward. There's no GA, but they turn towards Pepper. Meanwhile, LWX has killed SOFM. GA is ready for Pepper. He's got his flash up, but LWX is leaping forward. They're trying to get these kills. They pop GA on the far side. Crystal trying to clean up Gimgoon. He flashes for the chase. He's looking for Bing. He's snared, and he gets it. It's 2 versus 3. And now LWX leaps in. The ultimate is still burning. Alive. That's a quick tumble. He stealths in, and LWX can't get through the Unbreakable. He tumbles again and gets the kill. Crystal will die, though. And FPX take the fight. They try to go for the skill matchup, but they do not meet the bar.
Yeah, I feel like Snake were a little bit too eager to use the last few seconds of their Elder Drake. SOFM looking for an engage on LWX, but it gets instantly caught out. Pepper is just reading this guy. Guoguo falls down, Flandre is in a really bad position, so it's basically them trading 3v2s on either side of the map and winning their respective points, but FPX comes out ahead one person.
LWX, never the one to back down, leaps in again and calls Crystal's bluff. He sees the tumble. He goes down, but he trusts his team to follow him up, allowing the double kill and the one fight from FPX.
Yeah, I actually feel like that was a bait from LWX just to get Crystal to tumble back into him. I know this is the LPL, but
trading 1 kill for 2, I mean that takes forethought. That requires some decisive thinking. In FPX, they seem to be demonstrating that in spades here. As we've got a jungle skirmish over Raptors. Pepper, I have no idea what you're doing there, but now you're gonna have to go home and sit and think about what you've done.
Yeah, this is gonna give the inhibitor over to Snake. That's just a free inhib. That was really weird from Pepper, going very overconfident there.
Now he will have to sit and watch as his team tries to defend. Gimgoon has got teleport. There are no big neutral objectives on the map, but like you said, that inhibitor is still up. Crystal immediately steps forward with the rest of his team to break it down. LWX is behind Snake with a late recall. And he's been spotted, though. He looks for the play. He's found Flandre. Look at the damage. A quick cleanse as he gets the auto attack, and Pepper, Flandre will go down. LWX, what on earth are you doing? He's doing his best SOFM impression. Without him there, that's no wave clear. It's going to be up to Bing. He's Zanyas to make himself back onto the fountain. But the chase from Crystal, he finds it. The shield, he just needs a single auto attack, but he does not get it. Gimgoon protects it, but the Nexus itself is being attacked. It's being sieged, and it goes down. Snake bring the series 1-1.
So LWX was trying to win the game the same way he got advantages against EDG. Just hide behind the enemy.